So he is the long-reigning king of daytime TV's most outrageous tales. And now Jerry Springer is bringing tabloid television back bigger, better, and more bizarre than you can possibly imagine. And he joins us now. Come on, guys, let's do it. You know you want to. Jerry, Jerry, Jerry. Jerry Springer, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
How did we do with the chant? Does it sound pretty good?
Honestly, I started to well up just as you were doing it.
So we love this.
It was a beautiful moment.
You are the host now of a new TV show, so it showcases the most bizarre, larger-than-life stories you really couldn't make up. Let's take a sneak peek at Tabloid.
The teenage bling ring targeting Hollywood's hottest stars is picking up steam. When these kids see something they want, they just steal it. Generation Y? Come on, more like Generation E for entitled.
Oh.
With the teenage thieves on such a high, they come up with an outrageous idea. How about stealing from the stars they try so hard to emulate?
Wait, I have an idea.
All right, you guys remember that? The bling ring? Yeah, so that's what this show is all about. Jerry, tell us a little more. You guys basically take the tabloid headlines and investigate them for us.
Right. These are the biggest headlines over the last 20, 30 years. And, you know, when you're checking out of the grocery store and you see the headlines there in the tabloids, oftentimes you just don't pick it up because there's someone standing behind you and you don't want to be embarrassed. But if no one's behind you, you quickly open up the paper and you read the story there. Well, this is the backstory to how these headlines came to be, and also some newly discovered evidence, and it turns out to be very, very dramatic. And you can't make this stuff up. These are the real headlines of, as I said, the past 20, 30 years.
And it's funny, you say you can't make this up, and you also say that life invariably outruns imagination when it comes to outrageousness. What are some of the most outrageous episodes that we can expect to see with Tabloid?
Well, one that comes to my mind, just because I remember when it hit the headlines, years ago, there was this guy who was dating this young lady, and she broke up with him, and he got ticked off. So he hired these guys to throw lye in the face of this young woman, and it blinded her for life. So they catch him. He goes on trial, gets convicted. He spends 14 years in prison. When he gets out of prison, he finds this woman again. They hook up, and they get married.
Oh my!
And they're married
goodness.
They're married for 34 years. So it's an incredible story. It really is, you know.
And you look at stories like those and, you know, the crimes that happen and people's obsession with it. What is it about gruesome crimes and scandals that appeals to us? Like, why do you think we always need to see and know more?
Well, we are social beings, and I don't think there's anything new to that. I think 1,000 years ago, people used to gather in the town square or at the marketplace, and they would talk about incredible things that were happening in their neighborhood or, you know, down the street, whether it was scandalous or just outrageous or whatever. People are always talking about other people's behavior. The only difference today versus 1,000 years ago is today we have the media, and you know, we have high technology, and so therefore the neighborhood, which we've always talked about, has now suddenly become the planet Earth. So the neighborhood just got larger, but we're still doing the same thing. We talk about how people behave.
And I have to know, I mean, you spent 2 decades going strong as the host of the Jerry Springer Show. Does anything ever shock or surprise you anymore at this point?
No, but the honest answer is you can't be a grown-up in today's world and be shocked by anything anymore. I mean, you may be surprised that it happens to someone you know, but there's no incident or no event that I could tell you about that you as a grown-up would say, oh, I didn't know that happened.
Yeah.
I didn't know those things go on. So, so no, we're used to it. All you have to do is read any newspaper or watch any news show today, and by the time you get to page 3, I've got 20 shows. So we know this all goes on. In our lifetime, we've lived through it all. We're just surprised when it happens, as I said, to someone we know.
Well, even with all this craziness and everything you've seen in your time, do you believe that people are inherently good or inherently bad?
Well, I think people are inherently good. I mean, people want to be liked. Most people have some kind of a moral code where they think this is the proper thing to do. In other words, people behave properly not just because they think they're going to go to jail if they don't. They behave properly because most people think, well, that's the right thing to do.
Sure.
It's nice to be nice to people. It's nice not to steal. It's, so I think we're inherently good. I think sometimes, though, every human being does bad things from time to time, and it could be because there's a motive, or it could just be they're in a bad mood, or they're angry, or something ticked them off and they go and do something they shouldn't, or they feel like they have no other choice. So there are things that happen in a person's life which sometimes gets them to misbehave.
Yeah.
But generally, I think most people are good.
All right, Jerry, so with all this tabloid talk, we're going to have you join us for our special edition of Yes, No. I know you've got a sign over there. So,
Whoa,
yeah,
yes.
we're going to be guessing,
I've got a yes, and I've got a no.
That is awesome.
And I've just dropped my yes.
Oh, my goodness.
I've just dropped my yes. This is live television, so this is what happens. There you go. Yes and no.
All right, so here we go. We're going to be guessing, is this an actual tabloid headline? Yes or no, okay?
Oh, okay.
So, was this an actual tabloid headline? Gordon Ramsay, sex dwarf, eaten by badger. Yes or no? The answer is...
I'm going to say no.
Yes, it comes to us from the good old Weekly World News. Yep, Gordon Ramsay, sex dwarf, eaten by a badger. This just in. What do you think about that one?
Oh, no. I'm upset that we didn't get it on our show.
I know.
We're going to have a producers meeting as soon as this is over.
Here's our next one for you, Jerry. Was this an actual tabloid headline? Justin Bieber impregnates Miley Cyrus with his wrecking ball.
With his wrecking ball.
Yes.
I gotta say no to that.
That one is a no, and thank God for that. We do not need any little Bieber Cyrus babies running around town. Good guess.
Can you imagine?
I cannot. Let's go to the next one. Is this an actual tabloid headline? Dick Cheney is a robot. When he goes to the hospital, it's to get his circuits rewired.
Yes.
The answer is yes. We can thank Weekly World News again for that little gem. You're getting good at this game.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true, because he's got the various pacemakers and stuff like that, so they do have to rewire it.
All right, here's
Okay,
our
so I'm
next
1
one.
for 2.
Yep, here's our next one.
Yes.
Woman in sumo wrestler suit assaulted her ex-girlfriend in a gay pub after she waved at a man dressed as a Snickers bar.
Well, I hope it's true.
The answer is yes. It happened at the George Pub in Dublin,
Yes.
Ireland. I want to be in that bar right now because that's amazing to me.
Oh.
Here's our last
Is that
one.
a good time or what?
I know.
Yes.
Here's our last one. Is this an actual headline? Headless body in a topless bar.
That's an absolutely true story.
Absolutely. Yes, it is one of the most famous headlines from the New York Post. And Jerry, we hear Tabloid will be covering that one in a future episode, right?
Yes. Exactly, exactly. You won't want to miss it.
You did
We're
really
on,
well.
what? We're on every Thursday now at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock Central Time, but
Yep.
10 o'clock in the evening, Eastern and Western.
Absolutely.
Whatever,
Thank you so much, Jerry. Like you said, I'll run that over for you. Tabloid premieres January 16th on Investigation Discovery. Do not miss it. And thank you, Jerry, for being such a good sport with us.